as you want, and we have got all the industry experts coming up on this call to help you as much as possible. To start with, I think I'm happy that we have 100 years of cumulative experience between four of us who are part of this call, and I'm going to introduce each one of them before I get into some of these slides. I think this chart is of utmost importance, utmost important, if I can say so, and I would want each one of you to spend 5 minutes in, 2 minutes in actually looking at this chart. Now, this chart talks about the percentage placements of last 3 years in the tier 2B schools in India. Yeah. So leaving the top 20 B schools, this is data for probably 21st B school going up to 300, 400 B schools in India. You would find that probably about 35% of the jobs are actually coming in the retail banking sector for the marketing students. Around 10% of the jobs are in NBFC, 5% in insurance, and financial services, others like equity, etc., 10%. So give or take, we are talking about 60% of the jobs actually coming from the financial services of the banking sector, if I can say so. And therefore, very important for each one of the 100 people. We are now full and on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So, for each of you, it's utmost important to understand, because there's a high probability that each of you would make a career, in this research. As some of you would have heard, and I'm sure some of you must have been reading about it, digital marketing in campuses has also picked up, and we find about 10% of the jobs actually coming up in the digital marketing. Yeah. Now, this is data which we have taken from multiple institutes to arrive at this, but fact remains that close to 75%, close to 75% of the job market that we are talking about, we are trying to cover over today by virtue of financial services and digital marketing. Around 70-75% is what we are trying to cover over here. So I just wanted to say one thing. It's about you and your placements. Yeah. So leverage each one of us as much as possible by asking as many questions as possible. Our team, we have 3 members in the back end who are looking at different questions that you may have to help you understand. So therefore, don't hesitate, ask as many questions as possible. As this session keeps going, we will keep answering those many questions. It's about you, your placement. In the next 6-7 months, each one of you will be sitting for placement interviews. Keep that in mind. I want to quickly introduce, the panel. Mohit says he can't hear me. Devesh, can you hear me?
No, we can't hear you.
Sorry?
Now you're good. Now
Okay.
you're better. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Mohit. Kanav, can you just show me a thumbs up if you are able to hear me, so that we are all clear? Yeah. Thank you, Kanav. Yeah. So 75% of the placement is what we are talking about. Let's now talk about introducing the speakers to you before I get into a little bit about banking financial services. Some of you know me, some of you probably don't know me, but I am the founder of Vans Group. Worked for about 20 years in the corporate world. I was the CEO of the Pyramid Housing Finance Company. And 2018, I have started the world of, got into the world of startups. I am associated with several fintechs and internet age companies as advisor and on their board to talk about. We have Sujan Sinha. Sujan Sinha was ex-MD and CEO of Shriram Housing Finance and was a very senior management person in Axis Bank, and prior to that was in SBI. Probably about 40 plus years of retail banking experience, which probably gives 50% of the jobs that I talked about, right? Sujan is on the board of several listed companies which are into the financial services area and considered pioneer in his own subject of retail banking. Amongst many other things, in 2016, he was awarded the Best CEO Award for the banking and financial services sector, and also top 100 banking financial services and insurance sectors, in 2018. So I think it's indeed a privilege that we have Sujan with us today, and he will be sharing his experience and in his career of 40 years and in my career of 23 years. Combinedly, we would have gone at least to 150 B schools for hiring at different stages. So we bring in our experience to talk about it. My next set of speakers is Pritesh Mittal. Pritesh is an IIT Bombay alumnus and digital marketing entrepreneur, if I can say so. He is a co-founder of an interesting 100 people company called Grovisto, which is a pioneer into technology-driven digital marketing. They have got clients like Puma to Manyavar to California Design, then to many more to say Soyo Rooms, etc. And Pritesh has co-founded this company with a couple of his IIT batchmates and running it very successfully. Probably think of most advanced and sophisticated digital media campaign that you must have seen in the recent past. There's a high probability that Pritesh and team must have run that. We also have Murthy with us. Murthy is founder of a company called Box Day Out. It's a creative and visual design agency. He's an MBA from SP Jain and has worked in the areas of digital marketing with extensive experience. A dozen of startups that I'm aware of, Murthy has been advising them and working with them in the areas of digital marketing. So, combine between four of us, probably, Jenna, can you please put your query in the chat window? You have raised your hand. So combined between four of us, we bring in about 100 years of experience to share that with you. The structure in which we are going to go today is I'm going to take about 10 minutes to introduce some careers that you have in retail banking. I know a lot of you students must be coming from different institutes. We had registrations coming from dozens of institutes. So I will first focus on the banking sector, followed by certain question and answers that and get Sujan's view, followed by which we will take up digital marketing. Again, I repeat, through our discussion, if there are any questions, feel free to ask those questions. Again, I'm repeating, this is session about you, and therefore answering your questions become very important from that perspective. Before I hand over to Sujan, a couple of slides for you to understand. I think there is a wrong, perception or an unfounded perception that preschool students probably, have. And, often in my 18, 19 years of association with preschools, this question keeps coming from the students every time. Bank, NBFC, as the name sounds, non-banking finance company, sounds very finance-ish. So a lot of students keep asking, do I really have a role? Do I really have a role in banking sector as a marketing person, right? As a salesperson, as an aspirant of a salesperson, sales professional, do I have a role in banking sector? Is retail banking meant for only finance whiz kids who can understand cash flows and balance sheet? I think these are some typical questions all of us have. So let me start by essentially saying that while banking sector may be dealing with money, may be dealing with financial products, it is like any other organization which needs sales teams, which requires marketing teams, etc. And I'll request Sujan to later on throw some light on that, but probably in my own view, 70-75% of the jobs for young MBAs in the banking sector come in the sales and marketing areas, to say so. So therefore, take out the perception that bank means finance, bank means marketing as well, bank means sales as well. So I would want each one of you to keep that in mind as we keep speaking. Some of the typical roles that you have in bank, which we have listed, you don't have to take notes. We will share this presentation and also a YouTube video of this whole recording to each one of you. Yeah, I think there are three types of important roles that we have in bank. One is sales kind of a role. One is marketing kind of a role. One is product management kind of a role. I'm referring to retail banking at this point of time. When I say retail banking, which means banks where people like you and me transact. It could be ICICI Bank, it could be IndusInd Bank, it could be HDFC Bank, it could be Ratnakar Bank, it could be State Bank of India, where we either deposit money or take loans. I'm referring to that as retail banking. In the sales role, I think there are 2-3 important roles that one needs to look at, is customer acquisition and servicing, which basically means that either a cohort of customers are given to you, or a location is given to you, or a set of products is given to you, along with a small team, and you find out ways of engaging with customers, could be existing customers, could be new customers, to enhance your share of wallet, which means You play an intelligent sales role because here the products are not really commodity. It has to be explained and it has little technicalities in what you're talking about. So the first role is like any frontline sales role, where you essentially engage with your customer, understand his or her needs, customize little bit of the product, advise him what needs to be taken, sell a product. Now, this could be done through telemarketing. It could be done through a channel partner. It could be done through, some partnerships. It could be done through some bottom of pyramid kind of marketing, so on and so forth. So the first role is the sales role. And in my view, if there are 100 students of MBA marketing passing in a college, 50, 60 of you will land up in retail marketing, okay, retail banking. Out of the 60, probably 35, 40 of you would land up in a sales job, to say so. It requires a lot of things, including deep understanding of customers, products, then drive that you have, people skill, most of those things to come. Also remember that the sales cycle is like, for want of a better word, is like different levels that you play in a game. You may be starting off selling a very simple product to simple set of customers. Over years, you may have to sell a very sophisticated product, which is structured product to a very sophisticated investor, savvy people, so on and so forth. So therefore, remember that in a retail banking, every day you go to a bank to sell something, you have to learn something, because this is not an apple, orange, or a biscuit, which is standard for years, but the product keeps variating. Yeah. So the challenge is, how do we learn? How do we figure out who is the right set of customer? How do we convince the customer and advise him the right way to talk? Like you have channel management in detergent soaps, and Hindustan Levers has got distributors, partners, and some of you become partners to them. You also have distributors, to say so, in financial services, what is called as DSA, Direct Sales Associates. So some of you could also be in the role of selling through the distributor, which means you train people, you create certain incentive structures, make certain sales calls to them, encourage them, give a better service to them, so on and so forth. Yeah. So it could be channel sales, it could be direct sales. Yeah. That's the first cluster of jobs that you have in the sales management, if I can say so. The second would be digital marketing. Yeah. There is marketing, but marketing itself is very minimal in the retail banking, at the local level, to say so. When I say digital marketing, I'm looking at a plethora of things, including below the line marketing, web presence, Facebook campaigns, to social media, to using analytics to drive something, using CRM data to drive something. A host of those things which are basically data-driven marketing and using different media for marketing. I think that's the next set of roles which are emerging. And 5, 6 of you probably get into that role out of 50 odd people who get into the retail bank. The last one, which is product management, for want of a better word, it's a marketing sales role with a flavor of technology and with a flavor of understanding financial products and compliance, etc. Which basically means when you are launching a new product, from a customer perspective, from a regulator perspective, from a bank's perspective, how do you package that product? What are the risks that you have in product? How to launch that product? How do you strategize that selling of the product? How does technology enable for you to position those products? Most of those things. So remember, there are 3 types of roles: the sales roles, the marketing roles, and the product management roles. The sales role are in majority. Again, I repeat, if 100 of you are passing in marketing from any of the B schools, 50 of you will get into retail banking NBFC. Out of the 50, probably 35 will get into the sales role. Another 5, 7 would be get into probably digital marketing, and rest of them either in product management or advertising or related areas to talk about. Now, depending on the bank, either you are given a geography to operate, or a cluster of customers, school principals, or bank officers, or people earning X lakh rupees a year. Certain cluster can be given to you, or a geography can be given to you, or a product category can be given to you. That means you are responsible for sales of home loans. Yeah. So any of these probably can be given for the sales and marketing. Remember, compared to a normal sales of any FMCG products or otherwise, A couple of things are slightly different here. One, your ability to understand, learn the products because they keep changing and these products are not so straight. You have to really understand from a customer perspective, returns perspective, a competition perspective. And second, I think because this is money matters, customer involvement is much deeper compared to buying a shop. So therefore, the face time with customer, talk time with customer, the queries that the customer has is much more intense because the skin in the game of the customer is much higher. Yeah. So I think these are broad roles that we have in retail banking and NBFC. Yeah. Any questions? Please put it before I move to the next slide. I've got a bunch of questions. Okay. Anupriya, can you hear me now? Is this better? Sujan, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you, but voice trails off sometimes.
Okay. So maybe some problem with my mic. All right. So any questions that you guys have, please put it on that chat window. Thank you for bringing it to my notice on my mic to say so. Yeah. Okay. Let me try speaking on the laptop mic if that's any better. Is this better? Hello?
No, not really. Not really. I think there's some other control issues because I too am facing control issues. I don't know.
So,
I'm trying to log in from iPad too.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Minu, is this clear? Anupriya, is it clear right now? I don't know beyond.
This is slightly better.
Okay. So let me keep my mic literally in my mouth to say so. Yeah. The other sector, which has got about 5% of placements happening, is the insurance sector. Yeah, is an insurance sector. Now, in year 2000, insurance has been privatized, and we have got almost 24, 25 insurance companies, except one or two. Most of them have got partnerships with foreign partners. Bajaj Allianz has a partner with Allianz. Bharti AXA has a partnership with AXA. Max New York Life Insurance has a partnership. So you have a foreign MNC partner with Indian company, and insurance is being sold. Now this came into limelight very recently. When I say very recently, last 20 years, because prior to that, insurance was nationalized, and we had only one player literally in the life insurance segment, LIC of India, to say so. Yeah. Now insurance companies or banks, both of them, recruit for insurance. Let me repeat it. Both the insurance company as well as the banks recruit for selling insurance products. So the two roles that typically you get into that insurance company as a marketing sales MBAs is one of a sales manager for an insurance company, where you manage a set of agents or direct recruits or certain channels. Either a geography or a particular type of product is offered to you, and you have got sales targets and you have to sell those products. Or what is called as bank assurance. When I say bank insurance, if you have been to any of the banks, go to ICICI Bank, for example, you will find a counter of ICICI Prudential over there. Okay, which means ICICI Bank is an agent for ICICI Prudential. Axis Bank is an agent for Max New York Life Insurance. PNB Bank is agent for some other insurance company. So every bank, large banks have tied up with some insurance company, and therefore the bank also hires a manager or an MBA to sell the products to the existing customers. So often when you go to a bank, for example, you have some time, you will find somebody pitching for a new product for you, etc., etc. So I think a combination of that is called as bank assurance, if I can say so. Here, insurance companies, most of the jobs, probably 95% of the jobs that MBA marketing gets is into the frontline sales. There are certain jobs, obviously certain jobs in marketing and digital marketing, but that's a minority number. Majority of them in the frontline sales. Rohit, you have a question on sales? I'll put that answer on the chat window. So I think we have covered banking, NBFC, insurance, which is the majority sector in which the job roles are there. What I'm going to do now is I will now invite Sujan. Now I have talked about what are the roles, what is the trend, and where do I see MBAs going there from different colleges. With 40 years experience, I'm now leaving it to Sujan to tell them how do they get there, which means ICICI is going to come post Diwali to each of the campuses. IndusInd is going to come to each of the campuses. SUD insurance company is going to come. HSBC insurance is going to come to your campus. How do you prepare yourself, okay, to get into these roles, and what does it take to be successful in banking and NBFC sector? I'll now, request Sujan to please take and share his views, and meanwhile request the rest of you to please ask as many questions as possible on the chat window. Over to you, Sujan. Sujan.
Hi, everybody. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Am I visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, now I have a bit of a technical issue, so I tried the different device. I'm trying from a different device. I cannot see Srini's screen, but let me go ahead and just discuss with you what's happening, what are my experience been, the career options most of you can look forward. Srini discussed some of it. Let me just try and expound that what has been my experience, especially I have been hands-on involved in retail banking / NBFC business since 2003. So, well, out of that, 16 years has been absolutely active. Last 2-3 years has been post superannuation, but as an advisor, as a consultant, and interacting with people like you who are the current generation, who would be leading the businesses forward. So when we talk about careers in banking, the major portion, most of you, what you will face is retail banking. But that does not stop. I would be wrong not to just touch upon what we say corporate banking, or more maybe the street version would be wholesale banking. So what happens over there? Those are essentially large ticket. Those are really finance roles, because be it on the marketing side, be it as a relationship manager, whatever, it is essentially a finance role, because you are not selling a product. You are actually managing a relationship. And the relationship is usually a single customer. Now, somebody is dealing with, let's say, Adani Ports. Now, Adani Ports is a single customer, but it is tens of thousands of crores is what the underlying exposure or underlying challenges are. And anybody who is handling it needs to be perforce a very seasoned finance person who is very comfortable sitting down with financial analytics, with risk assumptions, with a lot of research and study into global risks, into country risks, into settlement risks, and also into very focused and very sophisticated credit appraisals. So this is an area which will actually generate employment for very few people. In fact, in my experience, you do get a lot of options in terms of initial people who are being taught, who are being trained. But the major chunk of the people who come in here are usually from people who have already, in a sense, gained experience in other phases of banking. So what happens typically, in my experience, Srini was talking about 200 B schools. Yes, and I think 200 B schools and maybe more than 1,000 B school aspirants who I have talked to very, very closely and intimately regarding their career options. I think out of them, maybe 5 or 10 would actually fit into a real corporate banking, wholesale banking role, because it needs a completely different mindset, a very good academic in that sense, that analytical background, maths, engineering, everything. And after that, the ability to actually sit down, pen and paper on the computer, be completely isolated from the rest of the world and completely concentrate on the finances. But the major chunk of the people are the people who entered the retail banking space. There were certain roles which Srini talked about on top of it. You have got credit cards. Nowadays, you have got lots of other products which are coming in. It'll be clean loans and even related products when you're talking about aggregators working with multiple financial organizations to reach out to the retail client. So over there also, there are a lot of roles. So marketing guys would mainly find themselves into those roles. And let me tell you one thing. In my experience, actually, you have to dirty your hands. There is no second option for that. What you need to do is essentially, I have faced it. I have got IIM Bangalore officers working under me who have, by their choice, gone into the branch, working in the branch, working their way to the top right from the ground level. And why do we say that it is the best way? Because that is the way you understand the customer's mindset. You face the customer, you know what he wants, learn what your product is. Is there a match between the customer's wants and your product offerings? Because very clearly, in retail products, it's very difficult to customize products. Yes, some of us do it, some organizations do it as an entry point strategy. But as you grow larger, as there are pressures on building up your top line, it's essentially like a fast moving consumer good. You have a cell phone. Apple will not say that I will create a cell phone specifically for you. What they do is keep on taking a lot of feedback, and their future version would maybe bring in certain changes, certain features, etc., which a majority of the people give as a feedback. But it is not customized. It is an upgrade or whatever term you use. So essentially, unless and until you are in the field, unless and until you understand what the customer's issues are, what are his requirements, when are his requirements, and what are the risks if you cannot meet his requirements at a specific time. These are the things that it is intrinsic. It is like an army. In the army, even a short commission official would have to actually be with the forces. They share the canteens, they share the field, they share the campsites. Because that's the only way you get to know the terrain. Over here, the terrain is your customer, the terrain is your product. So it is an ideal situation that you can start, if not direct sales, but at least sales management, which leads you to, like it's like a assembly line. Proper sales management, your experience in that can actually prepare you for a marketing role. And what is a marketing role? A marketing role is actually building on what you have learned on the field. It can be from product designing, it can be from training, it can be from customer selection, it can be even to the extent of credit appraisal and risk management. Because in the retail products, since these are more like FMCG issues, these are things which actually, even when we talk about credit appraisal, that is less of finance and more of marketing. You're understanding that, okay, let's say I'm giving a very, very simple thing, that here is this gentleman who runs a computer servicing shop. Now, he wants to buy a car. Can I or can I not give him the car? What are the factors I look at him in order to find out that if I finance a car, what are the risks involved? What could be the reasons for which he can prepay the loan? What could be the reasons for which his loan could turn bad? And if they turn bad, is there an option? Is there an ability to actually go in and say that is there can we cure this particular thing? So these are the issues that we really need to find out and take into account when we are aspiring to get into a proper career in banking and finance, especially on the retail banking side. Yeah, thanks, Srini. I am now able to see the slide. So I don't know whether I've been in tune or not, but I think maybe the feedback will tell me later on.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
so
yeah,
Sujan,
please.
maybe what will also be helpful is, these students, all of them are in first year in different B schools, 40, 50 B schools they come from, Mumbai, Pune, Ghaziabad to Tirchi to Jaipur to Delhi to, different parts of South to say so. Now, in 6 months, 7 months, they are going to appear for interviews. Companies will start coming in typically in the month of October, November. Okay. Now, what is your advice to them in the next 6 months, 7 months? What skills should they develop? What are some of the homework that would help them in getting these placements? And you have been a successful banker, joined at a, probably at a PO level and went on to a CEO level. What are some of the characteristics slash important facets that made you successful, which students can pick up from? Over to you, Sujan.
Okay, sure, thanks. Okay, I think an excellent pointer from Srini. Let me tackle the first of his things first, that what in the next 6, 7 months, what is I won't use the term shortcut, there is no shortcut. But how do you prepare yourself better? How do you face the challenges of a placement interview better? Over here, I think it's very important. You guys, your course itself, most of the courses, and these courses are also pretty much streamlined by now, well developed. There is a lot of coverage in terms of what are the products, what are the offerings, what are the various aspects of a career in retail banking. So it could be that profitability, what is top line, what is bottom line, how do these things move? Is it very important initially for an organization to concentrate on bottom line or on top line? What is human resources? What are the other capital expenditures? What is a startup? How do startups operate? I'm talking about in the financial sector. What is fintech? Because that is having a huge impact now on the financial services. So what is fintech? How closely is fintech aligned with financial services? It's very important for you to follow up and study this. This study may not be essentially from your textbooks or course material, but I think your computers, the research from what you download from the internet, and along with that, a continuous self-evaluation to find out, does it attract you? One of the most important things in life, in 1981, I joined as a probationary officer in State Bank of India. 2018, I retired as the CEO of a mortgage company. Now, in this 37 years, what has been the secret of success? Not a secret. It is a fact. And let me tell you, it is nothing spectacular. It is just having an interest in what you're doing, not allowing that to become a humdrum existence, not allowing that to become monotonous. So, whatever be the role as a branch manager of a branch in the Northeast, facing challenges over there, the government directed lendings, how to live with that, getting in your first set of new recruits, how to train them for a career in banking, how to keep on learning. We joined as officers. We were never so-called clerical work. We never got to do. But most of us who were interested, we sat down with the head clerks, we sat down with the senior clerks, trying to find out what were they doing. Because tomorrow, if I have to supervise them, I must know what they were doing. So these 37 years, I think one of the major things has been keeping that interest going. And for you, it must start today. You must keep on evaluating yourself that yes, a job pressure is important. Getting into a good job, a well-paying job is important. But along with that, do you have interest in that? Do you want to make that as a career, or is it just a stepping stone? Because the two of them would need a different mindset. And for I am not getting into what is right or what is wrong, absolutely, because it's a human being to human being. But knowing yourself is very important. Please practice your communication. 99% of my contemporaries or my similar minded people who would be coming for the interviews will not be looking at how well you know a home loan. They would be looking at how well you can communicate. It is not teaching you what the product is, teaching you whom to approach is what your employer would do. But once you're approaching how to talk, how to behave, how to, I would say, build up a relationship is something which is intrinsic to you. And you have to go on training yourself for that. So a huge amount of inputs for the next few months for the time being. I'm just putting in that few months is just a temporary rider. It will go on through your life. Please go on honing your skills. Each of us have strengths, weaknesses. Strengths you are required to sharpen and hone. Weaknesses you're supposed to be very, very aware of and ensure they do not get the upper hand. So both of these are extremely important for you to start judging. And if you're in a position to start judging it now, you remember that your maturity level actually undergoes a paradigm shift. You are no more a student aspiring to get a job. You are now a fledgling entrepreneur who is building up his career. And I think that is the major difference that you have to bridge in the next few months.
Thank you.
I also covered in this that what has been the driving force or whatever so-called success and all that. It's a pyramid. Please remember it's a pyramid. So people, not everybody who start off together would be at the top together. But that's a part of life. But ensure, I think this is a little bit of my personal philosophy. Ensure that you rise on your own merits, not by stepping on others' shoulders, not by putting somebody down. If you are meritorious, if you are competent and efficient, you will rise on your own steam. There is no issue with that. Yeah, Srini.
Thank you so much, Sujan. So, what I heard, and it's very interesting. I think three preparations probably you need to do. One, understand basics of banking and NBFC. Either do a small certification program or your own college subjects, or as a professor, you need to know what are the products, what drives business, what is the types of customers, what should be the incentive structures, a little structured program for you so that you get a head start. And you should know a slight difference between giving an interview in a bank versus some other company. I think second important aspect which I picked up from Sujan is good communication skills. While all of you know about it, but I'm just clarifying, good communication skill does not mean good English. Yeah. Good communication skill is, how much a focus you have in listening to the question, answering to the point. Do you have content or you are all over the place? So, a good communication not just comes from good English. You are blessed if you're having good English, but that's not the only requirement. Communication means depth. Communication means answering to the point. Communication would mean talking what is relevant to the context. For developing all of these things, you will have to go through some amount of reading about the banks, how it works, talking to a few people, maybe doing a one small project while your summer is going on. That gives you a brighter chance. And most important, you are all 20 something. You have 40 years of career ahead of you. If you're signing for something, you should know what you're getting into. Now, if you want to know what you're getting into, try doing some chotu projects so that you will get a feel of what you're doing, and you can get into that sector. So, we'll some 3-4 questions have come. We have answered, and a few more questions we'll take on banking. Sujan and I'll take those questions on banking and NBFC. Small secret, not so secret, but whatever little I understand about non-banking finance and housing finance, I've learned from Sujan. So, it's very interesting to say that Guru's perspective I could hear formally today.
No, but you're a perfect example, Srini. That's what I think the others should also. Maybe I'll just take at this 2 minutes. We started interacting when you were a very senior professional.
Sure.
You are a very senior professional, and normally at those levels, we stop learning. But you actually changed that completely. You were not at all hesitant to learn. Not only from me. I mean, I was okay. Technically, I was a senior, age, everything. But I could see you interacting with all the juniors over there, your juniors, your direct reportees, and picking up all the nuances of their jobs. And that is required throughout your career. I think that is something we should never lose track of.
Absolutely. No wonder our financial controller used to be worried about my travel bills, because in a year's time, probably, 100 days I would travel and the bills would be larger. That's on a lighter sense, to go to the branches, talk to the people, talk to the customer. Rohit asked a question, is it door-to-door sales? Rohit, I became CEO of a financial services company after working for 17, 18 years to say. So with that experience, and I knew nothing about it. Okay. Now, I used to literally go customer to customer at that age and stage to learn, without which I think I would not have learned. Almost 1 year, every single day. Okay, though I was, executive director level wise, I would go and meet customers because that's the best source of learning. So I think door-to-door sales or sales, take it as your learning for you to understand the pulse of the customer and move ahead in life. Yeah.
So, and Rohit, along with that, just maybe my personal experience. As a regional head in an NBFC, I have gone personally and repossessed a truck, which I drove back without any heavy vehicles driving license to the parking garage about 30 kilometers away. So, I mean, that's why I said that get your hands dirty. You have to get your hands dirty at a young age so that later on in life, you know what is there to know. You know the customer very well. You can relate to it.
All right. Thank you so much. So from banking sector, NBFC sector, which probably gives about 50% of the marketing jobs as per the trend of last 4-5 years. Now we move to newest baby on the block, if I can say so, which is on digital marketing. Probably in last 4-5 years, the definition has changed. A lot more excitement is happening. As you would see, the moment we move to the slides of digital marketing, average age also is coming down. So, Sujan and I have taken average age to one level. I have Murthy and Pritesh who have brought down the average age by 10-15 years at least.
Thanks, Murthy and Pritesh.
Yeah, because digital marketing is all about wannabe happening kind of a thing, to say so. So therefore, I will now request Pritesh, to quickly take the students through digital marketing, because Pritesh, I've been dealing with students. I deal with at least 1,000 odd students every year. And this is one big question a lot of students have. Digital marketing and social media, are they one and the same? Are there any differences? So over to you, Pritesh, for helping students understand a little more about digital marketing. Meanwhile, questions keep pouring in on the chat window. Over to you, Pritesh.
Thank you, Srini. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me well, please type out yes. All right, great. I mean, it's a usually I'm slightly more used to of the interactions where I keep on having a good interaction with everyone, right? And in this virtual medium, I think chat will be the only way. So please be attentive. I might ask more questions. So please revert in the format of chat. That's the only medium I can understand whether you're following me or not, right? All right, great. I'll start with a quick uh, experience, I would say. So I graduated from IIT Bombay in 2014, and I remember my first interview was with Credit Suisse, and I was obviously quite nervous. The first question was, Pritesh, why do you want to get into finance? And I, in my mind, was prepared for it. My answer to that was because I feel that I am an analytical person, and finance is very interesting field, and I can add a lot of value over there. And immediately after that, both me and my interviewer started laughing like anything, because we both knew that I don't know anything about finance. And just because they have shortlisted me, I'm appearing for the interview, and I really didn't know anything about the finance. So in a way, in that moment, I sort of screwed my chances to uh, get into finance industry. And of course, I was not aware of it. And uh, thanks to Yugma team to scheduling this, I'm sure that after this discussion, you all should know a little bit more about what is marketing and what is digital marketing in specific, right? How many of you know you have complete clarity about marketing? Or how many of you know, let's say, think when it comes to digital marketing, it's about posting something on social media? Please remember, your chat is the only form of communication we have. So let me make it a bit easier for you. Those who feel that digital marketing is more or less social media marketing, where you post something on Facebook, Instagram, and generate leads. Type out yes. All right, Garima is saying that social media marketing is just one aspect of it, right? What else? What does everyone else feel? Mhm. Marketing, Satish says marketing is nothing but targeting customers in various forms. Uh, Avik says, I feel digital marketing is a broad term and social media is just one small aspect of it. I'm glad that a lot of you have a better understanding of digital marketing. Uh, let me take a step back and uh, talk what is marketing and say. I mean, what is the difference between marketing and sales? And I was not aware of it back then. So I think it might be relevant right now as well. Let's take, for the discussion sake, an example of Byju's, right? The goal of marketing will be to collect leads, and goal of the sales team will be to convert those leads into business, right? Paying customers. Broadly, you can define it that way. So what I will do is I will walk you through all these rules and try and see that how Byju's might be doing this in their organization, right? That will give you a better idea as to what they are doing, and what exactly digital marketing means for Byju's, and and we can then draw parallel for other companies as well. For example, paid marketing. uh, Paid marketing, the ads you see on Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and other platforms, these are through paid marketing. There are digital marketers sitting behind the platform, and then they are the ones who are identifying you as an audience, and creating a page, and then targeting by providing some bids. I'm going a little bit fast. Try to be attentive. What digital marketers do is basically understand that, okay, for example, for Byju's, the decision makers are parents, right? So they would say that, okay, 40 to 45 age group, or maybe 35 to 45 age group, they will identify on Facebook, and they will say that, do you want your kids to learn faster and crack IIT JEE? Let's say, for example, right? And then parents, nobody says no, right? Parents click on that, and then that becomes a legitimate lead, and the job of marketing is in a way done, right? Now the sales team the marketing has also captured their phone number. Sales teams takes that number, pay a visit to that particular house. Right now, they must be doing it virtually, and then sell their courses to them. Hence, the goal started from, I mean, generating interest through marketing, through paid marketing on Facebook, Google, etc. And then eventually it closed to it was closed by sales team by asking them, by selling them some courses. Are you guys with me so far? All right, great. So this is what I mean by paid marketing. This is a big channel in digital marketing. A lot of money is being spent. For example, Byju's must be spending crores in a month to generate leads and for marketing, right?
With Pritesh, in a lighter sense, some of these crores go to Shah Rukh Khan, and some of the crores spent by Vedantu goes to Vidya Balan.
Yeah. But those are different crores than digital marketing crores.
Sure.
Yeah, so those would be different kind of budget. Influencer marketing, I'm not added over here. That's a completely different ball game. Uh, these goes to Google and Facebook and no one else. Then the next is organic marketing. Organic marketing is, when you're searching, for example, if people want IIT-J coaching or tutorials or question bank, etc., you go and type it out on Google, and you land on a page, right? Google throws some results. Now, how well you are optimizing your website for these search engines, or let's say, so to say, Google is a search engine, right? So for Google, for Microsoft, how well are you optimizing your website? Is when I said Google, my mobile started speaking. It sends it as okay Google. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I think organic marketing means that how well you can optimize your platform so that when users are organically searching on Google, they land on your website, and hence, for example, somebody searching IIT-J question paper or IIT-J syllabus, they land on your website, and from there you interact with Byju's website, and then sign up for, let's say, you say that, hey, I want to purchase your material, etc., and then give them a phone number, or either make a purchase then and there on the website. So the marketing team is again indirectly capturing users' interest through organic medium. Why do we call it organic? Because you're not paying right now to catch users' attention, whereas in paid marketing, you're paying to Google, Facebook, so that they show your ads on the top or in the feed of the user. Does that make sense? If you're following me, please type out yes. All right, great. Moving on, Amazon marketing. Now, Amazon marketing is not applicable for Byju's. It will be applicable for players who are selling things on Amazon, right? We all purchase anything to everything from Amazon, right? Now, when we search, let's say, for dinner set or crockery or t-shirt or anything like that on Amazon, you see those ads on the top, right? The digital marketer's role over there is to ensure that more and more sales is being generated by paying Amazon some amount, sponsored amount, or increasing your ranking on Amazon automatically, right? So in a nutshell, how do you grow your sales on Amazon? Now, digital marketers use both organic as well as paid medium to grow their sales. I'm not getting into the nitty-gritties, but I'm just trying to understand that what is the scope of digital marketing and what do we exactly mean by marketing here, right? A very important critical role of a digital marketer is analytics. They should be analytical enough to understand the data. Now, whatever activities I have mentioned above, it's very important that we have that understanding that, hey, I've spent 100 rupees, and then through this 100 rupees, how many leads are coming in, and out of those leads, how much business I'm generating. So if you're selling a product of 100 rupees, you wouldn't want to spend probably 100 rupees, right? It does not make business sense for you. How much is the margin of the product? How much, let's say, sometimes companies do pay 100 rupees also to grow faster, right? But what is the business objective and how much is the leeway for spending, right? You have to understand all these things, understand where is the user falling off. For example, there is a cycle. First, you're acquiring users, and then the next step is you generate interest, you capture their phone numbers, and then the next step you call them up, and then in the next step you probably are selling your courses, right? Now, in this funnel, where are the users dropping off, and how can you optimize it? If you are not a number driven person, it will be very difficult for you to sustain in digital marketing, because at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. The next is conversion. How? So for example, you have got a lot of users, let's say around 10,000 users on your web page through Facebook. Now, how are you converting them? What should be the design of the web page? What should be the features available on the web page, etc., etc. There are a lot of nitty-gritties from the moment you have got user on your landing page and moment you are completing their journey to acquire information or making a sale, etc., etc. So this conversion optimization is very, very important part of digital marketing. Then we move to social media management, which is primarily, let's say, managing these Google, managing Facebook pages, Instagram pages, Quora profiles, and a lot of social media management is required. So the reason why I mentioned paid marketing and social media management different, because there the skill set is about you are completely analytical over there. Here in social media management, analytics is required, but you need to have more of a marketing, design, content sort of understanding. For example, you need to know that what are the posts which will work for this target segment. What should be the language of the post? What should be the tonality, etc., etc. Uh, Geet, I'll come to A/B testing. Let me first go through all of these, right? The next is content marketing. How well are you churning out content to generate interest? For example, if you, let's say, if you talk about Byju's, for them the content marketing is, because the target segment is doing all the research about IIT, how can you be successful in what is the best form of training and what are the syllabus, etc., etc., and so many other courses, right? Now, how do you generate the content so that user read that content, you become a thought leader in that particular segment, and hence people start purchasing your material, your products more and more often, right? So content marketing is again a big game in digital marketing. Then the next is email marketing. How do you, email is a very, I would say, important channel. There are crores of email available to users. How do you utilize them? How do you capitalize on them? And how do you generate interest and maybe sell your products using email marketing? And there is a big funnel. For example, you reach out to someone once, and then you reach out to people 5 times. You have these follow-up emails, etc. Till the time they, the goal is that you convert more and more users to sell your products. And then last is design. Design is also a very integral part of digital marketing, because what sort of media to show to users, both video, text, as well as design, imagery, right? It's very important that you show the right kind of uh, visuals to people when you're running ads. Now, the person who is paid, who is into paid marketing, might not have that sense of design or content. They might be very analytical people who knows how to run ads on Google, Facebook, how to optimize them, but they need help of content guys and design guys to come up with the best form of content, right? Come up with the best form of sort of catchy images, catchy videos, catchy content copies, uh, all these things to sort of make their ad successful. So it's a teamwork at the end of the day, but these are different roles, right? Uh, any questions on this front so far? I'll just explain A/B testing. A/B testing is nothing but, let's say there is a page and 1,000 users are coming in on the page. Now you want to say that for buy now button, I want to have a red button rather than a yellow button. But there's nothing right and wrong, right? Some people will say that, hey, red is better. Some people will say that yellow is better. Now, what do you do in this case? Now, in digital marketing, what you can do is you can do A/B test. Show yellow button to 500 people, yellow button, red button to another 500 people, and then the data will tell you what is working for you. The place where you have more conversion, you are going to go ahead with that. So this is what people say A/B testing. Is that clear? All right, great. I think with this slide, I'm hoping that you all have some understanding about what is digital marketing, what are the roles available in it, right?
Yeah, I'll just move to the next slide. So thanks, Pritesh. I think this gave a beautiful overview of, as somebody has rightly written, that social media is only one chutku part of the whole thing. Yeah, thanks. I'll just move to the next slide.
Yes, Srini, please.
Yeah.
Muti, feel free to pitch in here. I'll. Do you want to take it up?
Yeah, sure, Pritesh. You want me to pitch in? I can continue.
Sure.
Great. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? I mean, is it clear, the audio? Just a couple of yes. Yeah, thank you so much. So I think the team here has a fairly good understanding of digital marketing. That's what I can sense out of it, because from the kind of responses, it was clear that social media marketing is only a part of digital marketing, right? And there is much larger things in the entire digital marketing field, right? Now, as Pritesh was rightly suggesting, there are several roles in a particular team, right? In a digital marketing agency or any company for that matter. I mean, there are digital marketing experts, there are PPC or pay-per-click or advertising experts who are only focused on the advertising piece. There is a complete creative team that is focused on the design aspects of it. So they have a team of copywriters, you'll have graphic designers, you'll have art directors who are probably, just focusing on all the creative aspects of it. And then there are content specialists and content writers who are actually focused on creating maybe different kinds of blogs or different kinds of articles and providing more value to your audience in terms of the actual content. So it's like a teamwork, as Pritesh was suggesting, and there are different roles that you can probably take up, right? But on a lighter note, digital marketing is a much bigger field, right? And you could probably be the best meme creator in the team and still call yourself a digital marketing or a content writer, right? So ultimately, if a brand is creating memes or content which is very easy for people to understand or relate to, and it's actually helping your brand grow, that's also part of digital marketing in a way. I mean, some of you would have seen, or in fact, most of you would have seen the recent Rahul Dravid cred advertisement, right? And it became very popular. I mean, that was more of a TV commercial. But if you would have seen on the social media front, a lot of brands actually capitalized on it. Spotify immediately created some posts saying that we have the best playlist for Rahul Dravid to calm him down in the traffic, right? Pizza Hut made a post that said that we have now got him into our store in Indiranagar, and we've given him his best pizza, so he's now calm. You don't have to worry about it. So this is in a way content creation, right? I mean, this may not be the actual blog type of a content writing that you do on social media or on the digital marketing front, but this is still creative content that goes in terms of engaging with your users, right? Now, I think as Sujin sir was rightly suggesting when he was talking about retail banking and banking, about marketing and the kind of sales and marketing roles you have, digital marketing is no different, right? Digital marketing is still about researching about your customers, offering them value in terms of the content and product. It is still the 4 Ps of marketing. I mean, all of you are coming from MBA and a marketing background. So digital marketing is still about the product, the price, place, and promotion, and your traditional marketing. But what is different in digital marketing, obviously, is the tools that we use, right? So different kinds of platforms, different kinds of tools, be it your Facebook, Instagram, email marketing, the PPC advertisement, search engine optimization. So all these things, right? Now, if you talk about the skills from that perspective, with your core marketing and your typical Philip Kotler kind of an understanding of marketing, what you can probably build upon in your coming next 6 months to 1 year from a skill perspective is to learn about some of these tools, because these tools are actually very different from each other. A Facebook, Instagram ecosystem and the way digital marketers would use a Facebook, Instagram ecosystem is very different from how a Google or a YouTube ecosystem works, right? Now, typically, if I just give you one quick example, YouTube content is normally more longish in nature, for a lack of a better word, right? So when you do content marketing on YouTube, you would probably create videos that are long, that has a lot of information to your users, and we go with that kind of a content. right? Instagram, it's normally believed that people have a shorter attention span on Instagram, right? Now, while Instagram has platforms and options like IGTV, where you can post long form content, the objective is normally not that, right? So normally brands prefer short form content on Instagram, right? So what you can probably pick up over the next few months is understanding of different platforms, how these platforms work, what works well in the Instagram, Facebook world, what works well in the Google, YouTube world. And then there are some of these other niche platforms. For example, you have Pinterest, you have Quora, you have Snapchat. So some of these different platforms are good for specific industries, right? So you can probably do a little bit of a research and understand which tool is good for which industry, and that will probably complement your understanding of the general marketing that we have, and we build the digital marketing knowledge on top of it. Apart from that, analytics, as the point it says here, analytics is one of the most important thing in digital marketing, as Pritesh was also saying, because it's all about data, right? Now, analytics could be on your social media side, where you're trying to analyze how your social media platforms are performing, or for example, the ads are performing, or it can be on the web analytics piece of it, in terms of how your websites are performing and all of that. Now, Google is one of the biggest player in the social media as well as the web analytics piece of it. So you can probably spend some time and understand how the entire Google Analytics ecosystem works. And then obviously from a Facebook perspective, how the Facebook Analytics ecosystem works, how these analytics are actually configured and set up. Now, for example, if I have a website, or if I'm running specific ads for my brand, I don't have the analytics right away, right? So I have to configure something called as a Facebook Pixel or a Google Analytics or a tracking code and all of that. Now, these systems might feel a little overwhelming or a little complicated at first, but if you spend some time in understanding how these systems work, how this data is actually collected, how do you get the right kind of information from a marketing perspective, right? Because again, as we were discussing, digital marketing is still marketing. So when I spend $1 on digital marketing, I still want to understand what is the return on my ad spend, right? I want to still understand what is the recall lift with my people. Are people really responding to my brand? I want to understand what is my per click cost. Am I really getting value out of the money that I'm spending in terms of my ad revenue, right? I want to understand the click-through rate. So for example, how many people in terms of percentage are clicking on my ad and responding to it? Am I targeting the right audience? So all this analytics, all the data related stuff is extremely important in the digital marketing field. So that could be one area that you can focus on. And apart from all of this, if you really have a knack for creativity, advertising, and all of that, just like traditional marketing, that itself is a big field in digital marketing, right? So you could look at how you can create the next best campaign, graphic designing, copywriting. All of that is a big field in digital marketing itself, because it's ultimately about creating the content that resonates well with your brand, right? So you can focus on creative and advertising as one big aspect as part of the entire digital marketing piece. And so there are multiple roles, as we were discussing, right? So just to summarize, probably you can look at analytics, you can look at the creative design aspect of it, or you can look at the campaign management and PPC and all of that. But what's overarching in most of these is obviously the communication and the content and the research part of it, right? Just like traditional marketing, communication is critical. Understanding your audience, doing the right target audience research and targeting the right people is extremely critical. And communication is extremely important, right? Communication, again, from not just verbal communication, more from, how your content and how the kind of messaging and positioning that you do for your brand on the platforms, how it resonates with people. So communication from that perspective, and the technical marketing skills. So these are a must have and something that you can focus on from a digital marketing perspective. I think there was a question here. Which tools are best for ASO keyword research? So I'm assuming that is your keyword research in terms of your SEO, which is the Google Analytics piece of it. So if you are looking for keyword research, there are a lot of third-party tools available, but Google itself has a keyword insights platform, and you can actually use that to understand which keywords are actually best for your brand. And again, there is a lot of analytics that happens on it. Unlike, I think more like traditional marketing, it's difficult to get your digital marketing initiatives and campaigns and everything right the first time, right? It requires constant focus on the data. So for example, if I select a few keywords and I'm running a PPC campaign, I need to constantly monitor which of my keywords are actually performing well. Do I really need to change something? Do I really need to focus on different set of keywords, both from a SEO and a paid ad perspective? And constantly optimize your target audience, constantly optimize your keywords and all of that. So it requires a lot of analytics from that perspective. Srini, maybe we can go to the next slide.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Go ahead, Murthy.
Yeah, so I think I probably covered a little bit of it, but what you can definitely do in the next 6 months or to 1 year is gain a better understanding of these tools. An internship or a project is definitely better. I mean, it gives you a lot of perspective. It gives you a lot of hands-on kind of an experience in terms of how some of these campaigns can be created. How do you analyze the data and all of that? So internships, projects, college projects. So you could have probably, if you have an option, you can create a page or something like that for your own college or a community or a club or something like that, and run some of these campaigns or initiatives for it. And these don't cost much. I mean, you can start with a very, very, very small budget, as low as probably a few ₹100, and just play around with these kind of things to see how you can actually promote and build the next big community or big club or something like that on social media platforms. So that is something that you can definitely try out. Apart from that, analytics, picking up some of these tools is definitely critical. One thing that I would also probably want to leave with you is there are a lot of roles in digital marketing field, as I was just saying, and there are a lot of companies that are into digital marketing space. There are smaller agencies, there are companies that probably employ thousands of people, and the typical Ogilvies of the world who are into much larger digital advertising and campaigning and all of that kind of stuff. Now, roles across these organizations differ a lot. In smaller organizations, your role could be more broader. I mean, you could be a copywriter one day, you could be a content writer the other day, and also focus on some of your PPC aspects and all of that. So your understanding and your focus is much broader. In a larger organization, and there's no good or bad about a large or a small organization. In a larger organization, your role could be more niche. So over the next few months, you can play around with different aspects of digital marketing and also figure out which areas you actually like. Do you like the analytics bit a little bit more? Do you like the creative or the advertising part of it a little bit more? Or do you actually like all the campaign management and the performance management and running your PPC ads and all of that? Based on that, you can probably figure out your niche and try to build your skills around that. There is a lot of online courses, a lot of content available on the internet, and there is absolutely no shortage of that. You can pick up some courses on Udemy. You can even go and register for some courses with reputed colleges and all of that. If there is something not available in your college, which I don't think so, there is normally a digital marketing course available in most of the MBA schools these days. But you can pick up content from some of these places and understand what your niche and your area of interest is, and maybe strengthen that over the next 6 months.
Yeah. Thanks, Murthy. I think I'll just add one point to Murthy,
Sure.
what he has spoken, and some of the questions have come in from that set of people. Meanwhile, Pritesh, you may want to answer on the chat window a question by NN between difference between digital marketing for B2B and B2C. You may want to just type the answer on the chat window itself. So I think very important points for some of you, that don't just look for a price. For a typical MBA program, you must have paid 4 lakh rupees. A digital marketing program, I don't know the price, but could be a few thousand rupees. So I think what is important is this having some industry validation or not? Otherwise, if you Google digital marketing courses, trust me, there must be 5,000 courses, correct? Are practitioner teaching you or not? I think that's very important for you to look into any of the certification programs. The person who is offering you or training you, is he or she practicing that, whether it's banking, whether it is NBFC, whether it is digital marketing, or quote unquote, he or she is actually a teacher kind of a person. So I think it's very important to get that practical aspect, because somebody asked a question which is a free certificate course, etc. So I think that's the aspect you'll have to look. So whenever you look at free or paid or whatever certification program, please figure out who are the people behind it, or what kind of practical experience those people have to talk about. Yeah. So that's a thumb rule for any program that you want to do, as a matter of fact, for certifications. Yeah. All right. So, in the interest of time as well, quickly, Pritesh, you want to answer that question of B2B and B2C because we have one more slide to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll quickly take that. So B2B marketing and B2C marketing, fundamentally the difference is about the users, right? Couple of differences I can think of. One is the target segment. So in B2B, you're selling to businesses. In B2C, you're selling to consumers, right? Uh, the ticket size of B2B is usually very high, whereas the ticket size of B2C per sale is low. For example, you can sell a product in B2C for 200, 300 bucks, etc. But in B2B, the ticket size will be lakhs or crores, right? B2B, LinkedIn will be very well used for B2B marketing. Email marketing will be very important for B2B marketing. Whereas Facebook will be very well known for, is very well known for B2C marketing. And I'm trying to generalize. I'm not saying that Facebook can't be used for B2B marketing and vice versa. It's just I'm just trying to give you a perspective. For example, let's say a company like Broisto, we are into digital marketing. We do B2B marketing for ourselves because we want to acquire more businesses, right? In order to get their business, get the marketing and technology business. At the same time, it's interesting that we do B2C marketing also. So we want to attract the best talent out there. So what we do is we run Facebook campaigns also to people who want to get into digital marketing. So we do so the second campaign is an example of B2C marketing, whereas the first campaign where we are targeting the businesses is an example of B2B marketing. I hope that makes sense.
All right. Thanks. Thank you, Minu, for sharing. I think it's important that there's an article in Education Times on how to pick up a certification program. Please click on that, all of you, and you could probably look at that. Yeah. So thank you, Pritesh, and thank you, Murthy, for bringing a practitioner's perspective onto what is digital marketing and hand on heart. Very honestly, I've also learned a few things because these are some things which have come off late, and a few of them which coming from a practitioner is always much more practical. So thank you so much for that. Before we end the call and questions can continue in that, I just wanted to share one slide with each of you. Murthy, am I audible?
Yes, Srini, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Here is my suggestion for all the marketing, finance, HR, anybody as a matter of fact. Between YouTube Live and this, we have about 150 people. So this is appeal to all 150 people. You are not playing a T20 match. Getting campus corporate linkage is not just about you passing an interview. That's only one step. You have got 40 years of your work. You want to be a CEO, you want to be a VP. I think there are 4 or 5 characters that you need to build, and very important. 20 by 200. 200 days a year, read 20 pages minimum, relevant to whatever area that you want. You are in the creative field, read a magazine, your choice. You are in FMCG, you read about the industry, your choice. 20 pages a day for 200. Make it a way of life. Yeah. Initially, it is boring, but over a period of time. Here, I'm saying you read on your mobile, you read on your laptop, iPad, doesn't really matter, right? You read through an app, doesn't matter. But keep yourself in touch because things keep changing every year. And if you have to be a successful professional, do that, start from today. Second, and sorry if I'm being blunt on the second part, we had surveyed, and as I told you, over 15,000 students I've mentored over the last 18 years or so, and we had surveyed close to 600 odd students this year. 90% of the students have said that the summer project that they got is not what they wanted to do. They wanted to do in digital marketing, as an example. They got a project in sales. They wanted to do a project in banking financial services sector to understand more. They got a project in selling a newspaper. It could be anything, yeah? 95% of the projects are like that. You can't change those. That's the nature. So my humble request to all of you is, during summers, which is starting from May 3rd for most of you, yeah, do your second project. There are enough sponsors, and we will be very happy to sponsor some of you for the second project, is do your dual summers, which means you want to make a career in digital marketing and your summers is in sales. Learn whatever you want to learn from sales. 6 hours, 7 hours, you slog there. Okay. Learn. No hesitation. Spend 3-4 hours. Do a second project. So tomorrow when you go for campus recruitment, you can always tell the recruiter, "Ki boss, I've done 2 projects. Here is my second summers. I'm genuinely interested. That's why I've slogged more so hard. I think very, very important. Don't ignore second summers. And there are enough and more companies which support that. Yeah, dual summers. You can write to Faisal, any one of us, to get more details, but we'll be very happy to do that. Yeah.
Really, I would also like to just add on one very simple point.
Yeah, go ahead.
That second summers or dual summers is extremely important, and you should do it as a matter of course. But do not allow yourself to get frustrated by your summer assignment. Even if I use the term menial, even the most menial of assignments can generate a lot of value for you. That's what my personal feeling is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Third point is, lot of us, okay, when we are young, when 20, 22, 23 years back, I passed out my MBA, etc. Even I used to have perception about sales, as Rohit has asked, door-to-door sales or whatever. It is not a bad career. Sales and retail has got a beautiful career ahead. So don't ignore that aspect of it. Sales is not just door-to-door, okay? If that helps you, as I mentioned during my call that I was a CEO in a company, in the same company, I started in sales. First 3 years of my life, I used to make sales call, literally not door to door, but shop to shop. 3 years I have done that. Yeah. Now, if you see my 20 years career, that was most memorable for me because I understood what is customer pulse, what is my dealer's pulse, how do the commercials work, what do competition does. So please don't ignore a sales job saying that, boss, I didn't study MBA, sales is a brainless job. No, sales has a lot of intelligent things to do and you can make a super career. Last but not the least, do industry relevant certification program during your summers. My own view, knowing what I know about the colleges, the third semester, which is after your summers, whether you start third semester or fourth trimester, is the tightest month. You have got your case study competitions, you have got summer presentations, you have got placement starting off, you have got 7 or 8 subjects in a specialization, each of them 39 hours. You won't have time to breathe and prepare systematically. Use these summers, especially you are doing virtual summers, so no travel. Use this to do some one relevant certification. Yeah. So I think these are important aspects which all of us put together we wanted to share with you. We will share this presentation with you. Okay. And you have any queries, you have email IDs of all of us and very happy to do that. Yeah. Before you all leave, we have a small request for each one of you. Devesh, please send that questionnaire. It takes you 30 seconds to answer one questionnaire. Okay. You just have to take a few things. This is to help us fine tune the next few workshops that we have. We have 4 workshops through today and tomorrow. We wanted to make sure we capture the feedback. Request all 150 of you who are there on the call plus YouTube to click on this and write your feedback. It would take less than 30 seconds. Yeah. So thank you so much. And we are very, very happy, no, you can, Pooja, you can just click on this, okay, can you mention your email ID? You said, okay. So I'll give you multiple email IDs. Please feel free to connect with any one of us. I will be very happy to, answer any of your queries. Okay. By the way, one important thing a lot of students miss out is today we, names of all of us. Okay. Profile of all of us. All of us are present on LinkedIn. Okay. If I were you, I would immediately go onto LinkedIn and add each one of us so that we will all learn from each other. So I think that's how networking also starts off. And that's where, you can leverage the social media. Request all of you to fill in, the feedback form without missing that. Finally, I want to thank all the panel members, Murthy, Pritesh, and Sujan. Very refreshing. Sujan, you and I have done this several times, but I think every time we talk, basis the questions, newer elements keep coming in and great learning. And personally for me, Pritesh and Murthy, it was, I won't say eye-opener, but very, very useful to relate business to the context that you had set. And I'm sure it must be very exciting for our youngsters over here. So thank you so much for your time. And in spite of all of us trying our best to work from home with all the challenges each one of us have, we could take out this time for future of India, if I can say so. So thank you so much and God bless you all. Thank you. Yeah, guys, please fill that feedback form. Don't go without that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Thank you.
Thank you, Srini. Thanks, everyone. It was a great session.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks.